Excellent. So let's start class 2. I hope you had fun doing the meditations, and I hope you managed to do it nearly every day. 5 out of 7 is a good goal for the week. And today's topics are, we will talk about meditation as a practice and the stages of meditation. And there we also go a little bit more into, we talked last week about that meditation is focused and being relaxed, and we will explore a little bit on that. The meditation for today is watch your thoughts, don't get involved, which is a perfect meditation to realize what's going on in your mind, because we are training our mind. It's so important to figure out what is in our mind. And so this is the first step, to even notice what's going on in our mind. And it's also a perfect meditation to notice what's going wrong in your mind, in the sense of focus, not in the sense of what you're thinking, in the sense of if you are focused or not. But first, Han-Li will talk a little bit more about meditation as practice.
So meditation is really about becoming this watcher of your own mind. If you think that you're going to manage to empty your mind of all thoughts, good luck with that. So it's more about creating the techniques, the methods, and practicing watching yourself and watching your own mind. And like anything else that you're trying to learn and practice, whether you're learning to drive, whether you are trying some new exercises, any new habit that you are trying to form will take very specific amounts of practice. And meditation is no different to that. So the time that you sit on the cushion doing the meditation is the practicing time that you're using to apply it into your life. So it's very important that when you are doing the sitting and meditating and practicing these techniques and these skills and using this tool, that you do it so in a deliberate way. And what I mean by that is, it's not just about doing it over and over and over in a repetitive way, but it's being aware of what am I doing? What could I do better next time? What did I do well this time? What shall I repeat? So it's deliberately evaluating what you've done while sitting on the cushion so that you can do it a little bit better next time, and the time after, and the time after. So the time on the cushion is there for you to evaluate how well you did it and how you can continue doing all the things you're doing well and fix a few of the things that you may have done better the next time. So that when you are in real life, you can very quickly begin to apply these techniques rather than going into your own old patterns, if that makes sense. So when it comes to applying it to real life, this is off the cushion, which is very, very important, because that's where we really have the impact of this meditation on others as well as ourselves, is to make sure that you set your intentions every day around that. And very importantly, that you remain curious all the time. It's very difficult to become really serious and wanting to do this so right when you're in a mindset of curiosity. So never ever lose that curiosity. Just go, oh, that's interesting. I just saw myself doing that, or I just noticed myself thinking that or feeling that. I must remember that. So be curious about it rather than trying to be judgmental about yourself. And so really it is, in the end of the day, the application will help you with increasing your own awareness of what is happening in your own mind so that you can focus better, and that in time you can regulate your own emotions better as well. So that when you notice that you're going down this little avenue of your mind goes here and then your emotions go there, and the next minute, you know, that's when you can say, oh, hang on a minute. I've practiced this before. I know how to manage this. I know how to bring myself back and focus. And then you will go through that practice, and that's how you will apply it in real life. And of course, you know, we have many tools that we can use, and one of them is the book that's really built to do that, to stop you at certain times in the day to say, hey, What's going on? Be a little bit aware. Look around you. Focus on where you are and begin to bring the practice that you did this morning on the cushion into your real life, because that's when it really matters. And so that's why meditation is very much like any other skill. You just have to keep on doing little bits at a time and then apply it in your real life.
Mm.
And so Sunam will take us now a little bit further with that and explain some of the other principles that underpin this, and also go through the stages of meditation.
So we talked about last time, the goal of meditation is to train your mind that you are able to have a focused and relaxed mind. What is that exactly? The best way to give you a hint how that feels if you have reached this state is, for example, if you are listening to your favorite song. And I think this picture is so beautiful because it's exactly the state of mind we want to reach. This guy is totally immersed in the music. He is not bored. He is not distracted. He is not thinking about something else. He is totally into the music. And that is the goal, what we want to reach in meditation, that our mind is totally immersed in the object we are meditating on. And to learn that, it's like learning driving a car. We need to know what are the ditches on the right and on the left side of our meditation highway we want to avoid. As a beginner, we are sitting in the car, and it's a lot of effort to stay in the middle, to not go onto the right side, which is one ditch, which is called sleepiness. And everybody who has practiced a little bit of meditation knows that you're suddenly, I experienced that in the beginning so many times, that I had really this, that your head is falling down and then you're suddenly wide awake. Everybody is laughing because everybody who practices knows really how that feels. And this sleepiness has different levels. So this is one ditch we really need to avoid in meditation, that we fall into the sleepiness. Either it's really falling literally asleep, that your head is going down, or it's this, that your mind slows down and everything is in slow motion. That's also some kind of sleepiness. And the other ditch on the other side is being distracted all the time, thinking about what do I have to do after I meditate? What do I eat today? Oh, yesterday somebody criticized me so badly. This is this, when the mind wanders off the topic, the thing, the meditation object, which is we want to emerge, and then our mind is suddenly on the other side. And so how do we learn to avoid these ditches? And for this, we have a beautiful map. And this map, I already talked about it last week, was invented by Trijang Rinpoche, the student of Paponka Rinpoche. It's like he invented social media for Dharma at that time. And this is the map we are driving along when we are learning to meditate. And the sources we are using, or is also used in this chart, because you see there is also a lot of explanation there, is taken from the Lamrim, is taken from the Bhavana Krama by Kamala Shila, which is an extraordinary explanation of meditation, and by the Samadhi Raja Sutra by Lord Buddha. And in this chart is explained the 9 different stages of meditation, the 5 problems you have when you are meditating, and the 8 antidotes you apply to overcome your problems. And most of the problems are not falling into the ditch of sleepiness or in the ditch of distractions. And also we are talking about the external conditions. So today we are covering the 9 stages, and in the upcoming classes we are talking about the 5 problems, the 8 antidotes, and also the external conditions which helps you to have a good meditation. So what is on the chart? There is an elephant, a very black elephant, and a monkey. They are raising up this path, and this is me, us, the meditator. And so we are chasing the elephant and the monkey and try to get them under control. The elephant is a very heavy animal, so the animal stands for sleepiness, and the monkey is a very agile animal, so the monkey stands for distraction, that our mind wanders all around but is not on the objects. The fire represents the effort we need to put into our meditation to keep these 2 animals under control. And in total, we have 9 stages as we go along, and it's very nice. So you see there, the elephant gets a white head and the monkey as well. And so every stage we proceed, we have these distractions better under control. And the 9 stages, let's go a little bit more up. And then at the end, the elephant is nearly white and the monkey is sitting there, and we have them under control. And then we have gained the control over our mind, and we have a focused and relaxed mind. And that the sky is flying in the sky shows us that there is more after these 9 stages. The 9 levels of the meditations, I don't want to bore you with the names of them, are roughly divided in 3 main categories. The first 3 stages, we are working that our mind even stays on the object. And you all know this, how hard it is to even keep our mind for 10 minutes on one object. We don't talk about a focused mind, we just work on that our mind stays on the object. This is in the moment, it's like there is a dot, we stay on the object, then there is another dot, we stay on the object, and then there is a third one. On the second level, these times are getting longer and longer. And for example, for the second level, there is a clear explanation. You have reached the second level, then you can focus on the object for about 2 minutes. And this is not a long time, and everybody would say, oh, that's no problem to meditate or to focus 2 minutes on one object. But if you really examine your mind, most of the time we do this short how do you call that, distraction. Oh, you're meditating, you're thinking about the gratitude, but then there is for a millisecond the thought, oh, have I left the oven on? Is there still the water going, or whatever? And you don't even notice it. So this is something which we learned today, how you watch your own thought, that you even notice that you are not on the object. Or I often, there is a noise distracting me during meditation, and this noise even makes me aware that I'm not on the object. So the first 3 levels, we learn that our mind is on the object. Then in the next 4 levels, 4, 5, 6, and 7, we are working very, very strongly on getting sleepiness and distractedness under control in several levels. And then the last 2 levels, then we learn that our mind can drive on this highway being focused and relaxed. So, what is this mind which is focused and relaxed? Here is another picture. I just want to give you the feeling what we are reaching for by training our mind. I love this picture because I don't know if you have had this in your life. You're reading a book and you forget everything. You don't hear anybody talking to you. You don't hear the alarm clock. You're just immersed in the book. Your mind and the content of the book are one. And this woman holding the chopsticks, and even I think she is holding this chopsticks for 5 minutes. So I think she's over level 2. And she really forgets, and that also happens in meditation, that you even forget your body, that you even forget that your knees are hurting. So meditation is really a very happy state of mind. It's this fascination. Han Li also talked about it. Your mind is really, it's interested in the object. It's want to immerse in the object. You're not thinking about food. You're thinking about this one subject. You're not sleepy and you don't think about anything else. Yeah, we are sitting every day on the cushion, and a lot of the time we are struggling to keep our mind on the cushion. And in the beginning, that is the challenge, that we learn always to bring our mind back to the object and to generate this fascination, this being interested in the object. And that is called practice. But every second which you struggle with your mind, you're getting better. So if you have a meditation where you struggle a lot, that's a good meditation because you're training your meditation muscle, that you keep your mind on the object. So to judge a meditation on the feeling you have when you get off the cushion is not correct. It's simply, have you struggled with your mind? Have you been able to draw him back on the object again and again and again? That's the success in the beginning, that you just draw him back on the object. Please, please, mind, come back to gratitude. I wanted to do gratitude meditation today. Whoops! Oh. And then he's thinking about, oh, I forgot to jot down a task I have to do very urgently. Whoop. Please, mind, come back to the gratitude. That's what it is about. And if you do that, that you bring him back, then you have had a successful meditation. If you let your mind wander off and, oh, it's so nice and spacey, I had such a nice chocolate cream yesterday. This is not meditation. It might give you a good feeling afterwards, but you have not trained your mind.
Yeah. When you're saying that, what I start thinking about is it's like a puppy.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
You would screaming at the puppy. You would just say, come back here, and keep it in the house so that it doesn't leave the house and go into danger. So it's just very gently doing that all the time. And through practicing over time, you'll get to that stage where you're in that zone, right? Where you kind of lose time almost, where time doesn't exist. And then you suddenly look at the clock and go, how did we get 2 hours later? I have no idea how we got here. And that's really what we're trying to get to in the end by starting with these first steps of just being aware of what's happening in our own minds and where our own minds are going when we're not paying attention to it.
Mm-hmm. And today's meditation is a perfect meditation to really being aware what's going on in our mind, so that in the later stages or in the later classes, we are aware also to notice, are we wandering off or are we getting sleepy? So please, Han Li, what's today's meditation?
Absolutely. So today we're going to start as usual with the 10 breaths. And again, remember, this is part of the 3 stages that we're setting up for you to follow. And so if you think about doing this for this week, it's going to be 11 minutes. You're going to use roughly a third of the time doing that. But right now, you might just use 1 or 2 minutes in the beginning, just focusing on your breath. So we're going to do that for a couple of minutes. And that is really it's almost priming yourself to tell your brain, to tell your body, this is what we're going to do now. So just be with me, come here, sit with me on the cushion, give yourself a minute before you actually start with the meditation itself, the second part of the meditation itself. And this time it's about really watching your thoughts. So think about it as if you are maybe watching children playing on the playground. You are removed from them, you are observing them. So you are going into an observational mode. Or maybe you're sitting at a cafe drinking a cup of coffee and people are walking by and you're just watching. Or maybe you're at an airport, not nowadays, airport or bus stop, and you just watch people walking by, right? So that's what you're going to be training your mind to do, but you are going to be watching yourself. So we're going to move your mind outside of yourself to a place where you're observing yourself over here. We are going to then be watching the mind with curiosity, very important. So don't get judgmental, just observe. Don't get involved. If you find yourself going down the little rabbit hole where you're like, oh, and then she said this, and then he said this, and da-da-da-da, just slowly back. Oh, I can see I'm doing that. All right, wait, I'm going to come back. So with curiosity and gently bring your mind back. Okay, but don't engage. Then I'm going to ask you after a little while to begin to think about the thoughts and the feeling that is attached to those thoughts. And the same will happen. Don't get attached to the feeling. Just notice it. Just become aware of it. And then give it a label. Maybe I was angry, or I was sad, or frustrated, whatever the label is that you want to give it that goes along with that thought. So maybe I was thinking about a conversation I had yesterday and I noticed what happened. Or maybe this morning I'm noticing something about myself and I notice, oh, the emotion that's attached to that is this. I'm anxious, or I'm annoyed, or I'm happy, or I'm just neutral. I don't think anything about it at all. It's just a neutral thought. Whatever it is, notice the emotion, and then at the end I'm going to ask you to put a label on it, like name it, because we're going to start making notes of these emotions when we've finished our meditation so that we can remember them and go back and review them. All right, and then we'll close out after that. So we're going to do the warm-up breaths, we'll be in the meditation for a few minutes, and then we will close off after that. All right, is everyone ready? Are there any questions? Because again, I don't want you going in with any questions in your mind. I want you to be focused on the practice.
I have a question. Hi, my name is Helen. So if I don't think of anything else but be present, is that okay as well?
So it is about being present, but remember I said don't try and think of nothing, because that's virtually impossible. Just be aware of what you are thinking. So you just watching, you pulling yourself up here, okay, sort of slightly behind you, looking at yourself, and you're just observing with curiosity what kind of thoughts are coming up for you. If you find that your mind is very busy and there's lots going on, then pull further away. Because the further away you are, the more you are able to just be away from what's going on over here and just observing. What is happening? I see this is happening. I'm suddenly thinking about this. I'm suddenly thinking about that, and so on. And then don't get attached. Does that make sense to you?
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Try.
Okay. Sunam, did you have anything to add to that?
No, perfect.
Okay, great. And so just give it a try. Begin to just be aware. Like I said, don't get involved. Then notice the emotions, then label the emotions, and then we'll come out of the meditation after that. Okay? All right, excellent. So let's start. Sit comfortably wherever you are. Make sure that your back is straight. You can either close your eyes if you're very distracted, or leave them half open and looking down at a 45-degree angle. Start becoming aware of your breathing. Just notice how it might be flowing in and out of the tip of your nose. And then on the next out breath, start counting each breath, breathing out and breathing in. And when you start getting the hang of it, start counting each breath up to 10 and then start again. If you lose the number, just go back to 1. So finish your next breath and then step away from yourself in your own mind and start observing yourself. So you might have the feeling of hovering just above the crown of your head and looking down at yourself. And you're just watching yourself with curiosity and noticing the thoughts that come in and out of your mind. Don't engage with the thought. Don't get attached to it. And if you find yourself going down a little pathway of thinking about a thought, about a thinking, then just come back, pull yourself away over the crown of your head, pull a little bit further away, and just keep watching the thoughts coming and going in your mind. If you find your mind drifting or attaching, or you might get sleepy, just bring it back again. Now start being curious about the feeling or the emotion that goes along with the thought. What feeling is attached to that thought? What emotion is attached to the thought? And if there's more than one, keep on noticing each emotion that is attached to the different thoughts that you're observing. Now start labeling each of these as you see them. Identify, label. If you feel yourself feeling these feelings and getting attached to them, just take a moment, step away again. Don't engage with the feeling or the emotion. Just acknowledge it, identify it, and label it. Now maybe start noticing maybe there are themes that are coming out. There are main feelings that keep on coming up. And just make a mental note of those. And in your next breath, begin to finish your observation of yourself and move from your observing position back into yourself. Again, start becoming aware of your breath. Become aware of your body. Become aware of where you're sitting. Bring yourself back into the room where you are. And then with your next breath, out and in, open your eyes. And give a nice stretch. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. And back with us here. If you have a notepad near you somewhere and a pen or pen and paper, maybe just write down a couple of thoughts or a couple of feelings that tend to come up for you. Just make a note of that, because that's going to start becoming part of our homework this week. What did you notice? What did you feel? Were some of the feelings the same? Okay, any questions from anyone? Anything that you might have noticed or observed before we move to start closing? Any questions? How did that go, Helen?
I just realized I didn't follow your instruction. I wasn't really thinking about a bus stop or something. So I was really just letting my mind, I was trying to focus my mind. Yeah. So I was trying to hear, like, my fan is actually, I can hear the sound. I was just observing myself from up here. And then something just flashed by, and then I kind of caught it and said, come back. Right. So I didn't actually follow your instruction very well. So sorry about that.
Remember, we're practicing. And you're going to do more of that this week. And so it'll be interesting to see how it changes for you as the week goes on when you practice it every day.
Yeah, thank you.
Sure, no problem. If anyone else has questions or comments, you can pop it in the chat as well. I see we have one by observing our thought. Is it to improve our focus? Absolutely, because you're watching what your mind is doing and you're noticing that your mind is naturally not focused. It is that monkey. It is doing this and then going there. And so, yes, that helps us. First, we just notice that that's happening. Then we're going to start going, all right, how do we take some time and practice for it not to do that for a short little time as possible, so we can just focus on one thing, and try and do that for 1 minute and 2 minutes and 3 minutes and 7 minutes and 15 minutes, just practicing that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Someone was saying they got some visual images like flashbacks. Is that okay? Sunam, would you like to take that one?
That's perfect, because I think everybody has a different preference. Some people are more really on the straight thinking, other people are more on the senses, and maybe you are a very visual person, so maybe it's more images which are coming up. And just tackle it the same way. Just check, is there any feeling connected with it, label it. Maybe it's neutral, and then let it go. So this is very normal, that it's not only thoughts which are coming up, that images are coming up as well, or maybe even you have feeling which you feel in your body, which some kind express in your mind. So that's quite normal. And there was another one which was very similar. Yes, an active mind, some kind of confirmation. This is something which everybody notices starting meditation, that our mind is so busy all the time. And that's also one of the goals of this meditation, that you are even getting aware what your mind is all day long doing. Because I think in a normal daily life, you might only notice 5 to 10% of the thoughts which are coming through your mind. When I started with this exercise, and I think every meditator does, it's like meditation is making it worse. And this is a quite normal reaction, because now we learn to observe our mind. So we are suddenly aware what's going on in our mind all day long. I want to add a note, and that's, I think, just notice the thoughts and notice which feeling is associated is a very, very good exercise for your meditation career, because being able to watch your own mind is the most important skill you have to learn to proceed on your meditation career. And don't only notice it, don't judge, don't feel guilty. The thoughts which are coming up are produced by your past karma. You cannot do anything against them. Just notice them, and at the end of the meditation, write down the 1 or 2 or 3 feelings which have been there very often, because noticing it is part of changing it, because then you can work on exactly that one with a 4-step plan. If there is anybody here who does not know what is a 4-step plan, please let me know in the chat and we can handle that. And there was another question.
Philip, he said there are so many meditations. Do we do the same every day, or can we mix and match? And then how do we best schedule our practice? I'm going to give a go at that, and then Sunam can also say what she feels. But I think in this particular instance, in this course that we have, it's important to just do the same one every day, because we're practicing every week to add a little bit. So we adding every week a new layer to the same thing. So yes, there are very many different ones, but for now, in this course, we're just practicing the same ones. And the best time, I think, to schedule your practice is when you know you're going to do it every single time. And that might be in the morning, which is usually best, but if it happens to be in the evening, that you know that you're going to do it, that's great. And Philip, you can also listen to last week where we also explained that it may be that you attach to something that you do every day, like brushing your teeth, I hope. That you'll know that when I brush my teeth, the next thing is on the cushion, all right? So you associate one established habit with the meditation habit. So that's my answer to Philip. I don't know, Sunam, if you have anything else.
I totally agree, yeah.
Great.
Then I got some tingling in the body at some point. Just, it's the same, notice, oh, there is body feeling. Maybe it's does not feel very pleasant, or maybe the tingling is present. Then just label it present body feeling or unpleasant body feeling, and then go on.
And then Camille was saying, if I sense the surroundings in my thoughts, is it normal? I think that when you're sensing anything, again, be curious about it and just say, oh, I'm noticing that I'm feeling this, or and that's fine. So don't necessarily try to put a value on it or a value judgment on it. Is it normal? Is it not normal? It just is. Just notice it, move on. Make sense? Okay.
As said before, I normally take, when I can sense my surrounding, I normally take it as a hint, like, check, oh, am an eye on the object, and then just come back. And then later on, there are even meditation practices where you are purposely focusing on your surrounding. In a normal meditation, it goes like during you settle into your posture and during the 10 breaths, you try to bring the mind in, and then you're meditating, and then when you end the meditation in the last third, you somehow open up your senses again for the surrounding. So when it happens in the middle of the meditation, just notice it. Oh, there was something, maybe it was a loud noise or something, your air condition or whatever, and then just notice it, come back. That's the part, that's the meditation muscle. Noticing and coming back to the object.
The next question is what and how to set intention every day, and is it for ourselves or dedicate it to someone else? So setting an intention every day is just deciding whatever intention it is that you're going to be a certain way, you're going to look at the world a certain way, whatever. You can choose your intention for that day and go about mindfully setting it, and then reminding yourself as the day goes on that was your intention, because sometimes halfway through the day we're like, oh, I was going to be kind and compassionate today, and here I am being grumpy with somebody, right? So set the intention, keep reminding yourself through the day. Of course, it's always important not only to set it perhaps for yourself, but then to set it for those outside and to dedicate it to those outside of yourself. That is part of our lineage and how we believe we can change the world and impact the world around us. So yes, the intention can be for yourself. You can dedicate your meditation to yourself, but ultimately the best next step is to find someone to dedicate that good energy to. Last one here is Anna, I think. Sorry, unless you have something else to add there, Sunam.
Yeah, I think I'm reading the next one. It's a longer one, so it will take me a few seconds. So I'm active mind, excited, but then I get focused. My daughter is with me, so I use that like a tool that she was watching me, and very interested to teach her how to meditate. Perfect motivation and intention. She got nervous when she needs to talk, so I don't know how she is looking. Yeah, perfect description of what happens. I think, is there a question involved in it? I love the description. Perfect, Anna.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for your questions. You may have other questions as the week goes along. Please feel free to email us if you have something and say, I've experienced this, or I have a question about that, or I'm not clear about the following thing, or just to share. I had a really good meditation today. This happened. We're always happy to hear from you.
Mm-hmm. Before we go on, I would like to pose the question, how was it going with the homework? Have you been able to meditate nearly every day? And how have you felt with the 10 minutes when the alarm clock went off? Was it easy? Good.
Yeah, it was, well, I have been practicing meditation for a while, so these 10 minutes have been easy for me. Mm-hmm. Some days, not the whole week, but the 10 minutes get really easy. But during the day, I have the question, like, I talked with some friend, and she was having some struggle in the week, personal struggles. So when she asked me how was I answer immediately, oh, I'm very good, I'm great, and I'm very thankful about everything. And when she started talking about herself, I was like, oh, is it good to talk about myself, that how great I am? It's like a question also. When I talk to somebody, I feel very grateful. But when I express myself about it, is it fine to let her know about myself?
I think totally. And when she then starts to talk about herself, I think meditation helps you there to be more compassionate with her. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Sure. And then Rose was saying, thank you. 10 minutes has been perfect. Not easy, but helpful to limit myself to only the 10 minutes. Sheree, thank you. So she said it got harder as the week went on because of being tired from work. Totally understand. And my mind gets bored doing the same thing each day, which I feel bad about because I feel bad to be bored with gratitude.
I think that leads back to what Han Li said about the practice. Be curious every day. So maybe, Han Li, do you want to explore a little bit about how you can get out of the boredom?
I think that part of it is that you have to accept that sometimes you're going to be bored. I think I always believe that if you try and fight something, you make it worse. So again, be curious about the boredom and say, oh, I wonder why I'm bored. What's happening there for me? What are my thoughts? But it's also to just take a minute, maybe step away. Sometimes I just stop. Okay, fine. Maybe today is not the day. I'm going to try it a little bit later in the day. So that's what I sometimes do for that. I don't know if you have a different remedy for that, Sunam.
I do the same. I step back and ask myself, why am I bored? Have I picked the same person 7 days per week so that somehow I'm run out of gratitude, or I have the feeling I'm repeating myself? So maybe you try to make it a little bit more difficult, in the sense that you are going to persons which you have some kind of neutral relationship, or maybe even challenging yourself to be grateful to a person which you have trouble with.
Yeah. So it might also be like a little bit like any other thing that we're trying to practice. Like if I'm walking or running the same route every day, eventually I'm going to get bored. So maybe I should put a hill in there, or maybe I should try a different route or run it in reverse. So just try and switch it up as much as you can. And yes, I think challenging yourself is a great suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting close to the end of our time. You're welcome. So there's one more question. How can I avoid being judgmental, since this seems to be a problem for me? Do you want to go ahead and answer that one, Sula?
I know that problem very well. And I think meditating helps you a lot of this, especially this meditation. And I had a long time trouble to understand when I got the instruction, don't get involved in your thoughts, let them pass away like the clouds on the sky, because that is exactly not being judgmental, not getting involved. So for me, the picture worked the best. If you are next to a street and the cars are driving by, and cars are your thoughts, then they are just driving by. In the moment when I get into the car, oh, this is a nice old yellow Beetle, and I'm curious where, if I can buy one, and where I get one, and how expensive is it. That is following your thoughts. And it's the same with you let your thoughts pass. It's the same when you put the label on it. Just notice the feeling and then let it go. And yes, bring your mind back if you go down the road. Oh, I have 80% bad thoughts. I'm only criticizing other people. Oh, and I have nearly no happy thoughts. Yes, that's normal, but don't judge yourself. The exercise of the week and the homework is only to notice. And after a week, you might feel, oh, 80% of my thoughts are judgmental, being judgmental about yourself or maybe about other people. Then work on that with a 4-step plan. But during the meditation, just notice it. And that is training your meditation muscle. That is exactly what we try to learn, to having control of our thoughts and not going down this judgmental. And as we know, we need to work on both levels, on focusing on our mind and then doing the karmic work behind it.
Exactly, because in order to apply the remedy, you have to know what you're remedying, right? You can't just apply it in a vacuum. And so this is really about trying to get to that point. So if you're beginning to notice that about yourself, then we're going in the right direction. And now you can apply that 4-step plan. And I know that Sheree was saying, can we quickly go through the 4-step plan? I'm a little bit concerned about time, so I'm wondering, Sunam, if we can maybe share that by email with everybody, or if we could make a quick video and post that.
Yeah, I think because we're really running out of time, I don't want to stretch anybody's time, but we can, that's, I think, is a great idea. Yeah.
Okay, great. And so the homework for this week, if you can hop onto the next slide.
Yes, I need to figure out all my windows here. So, excellent. Where are we? We did meditation as a practice. We talked about the stages, that the first 3 stages is to learn to keep your mind on the object, that the next 4 stages is getting rid of sleepiness and being distracted, and the last 2, the focus of the mind, relax and focus. We did the watch your thoughts, and your homework is?
Only 11 minutes, not any more. Set the alarm clock an extra minute this week. All right, so 11 minutes only. Practice the same meditation we did today, watching your thoughts, right? And we're going to obviously post the recording, so if you need to go back and remind yourself, you can do that. Then start a meditation journal. Write down the date and time of your meditation. Write down what you were experiencing during it. Keep it real simple. Sleepy, distracted, whatever it may be. Okay. Then, what was the prevailing feeling, the overall feeling that you noticed during this meditation? Oh, I noticed that, you know what, I'm very grumpy with people a lot of the time. Just write that down. Keep it real simple. Okay. And then one thing that I realized or learned about that. Oh, you know, I don't need to be grumpy. Everyone's trying their best, whatever it may be. So short little meditation journal, just a few lines. It doesn't have to be pages. Date and time of the meditation, prevailing problem, feeling that prevails during that meditation, and maybe one thing that you've learned. Right. So that's the homework for this week.
Then we say thank you. Have a nice week. Yes. Learn to establish your watcher. It's so important. And have fun. See you next Saturday.
Absolutely. Stay curious, everybody.